I wanted to mention some books that I've valued throughout my career, and so they're not the new hot off the press ones, but I think the messaging is always fundamental, and so I've always resonated with some of these books. So my favorite is Anti-Cancer: A New Way of Life, by David Servan-Schreiber. He was diagnosed by accident with a brain cancer when he was 30, and he was an MD. And when that happened, he learned a lot. And when he came back, he learned even more. So he got more open-minded, and which potentially helped him with his longer-term outcome. This book here, Crazy Sexy Cancer Tips by Carr. It's really good for these younger diagnosed demographics. It's got a bit of vibe, a bit of energy, and it was forward by Cheryl Crow. Happy Valentine's Day. You have cancer. I think that's when she was diagnosed. Cancer could happen anytime. And so I find it's quite useful for those who've just been diagnosed. In the back, she gets into this food combining business. I always tell patients, just don't focus too much on that. But I always resonated with her messaging and her story. For those that are looking for a bit more of like philosophical and there's this book, Dying to Be Me by Anita Moorjani. So, she had this, near life death experience. She was on her deathbed with cancer, and during that experience, something transformational happened to her, and then, apparently her disease shrank, and, she was, alive and kicking for a long time. I think she's still alive. So I know there's been some critics, oh, maybe, she got some lung drain chemo around that time that could have helped. But regardless, it's a really fascinating story, because when you're diagnosed with cancer, it's like a lot of people are in a state of reflection. What does this mean for me? So I've had patients really resonate with that. Two others that come to mind. I don't have the books in front of me, but a classic, When the Body Says No by Gabor. So he's a local medical doctor, mind body, here in Vancouver, a really great guy. Again, it's not a new book, but the messaging about stress and the body and how it responds to it. And there's also another one called, I'm just looking on my screen here, Picking Up the Pieces, Moving Forward After Surviving Cancer by Sherri, Magee, Magee. So again, it's also about when you've been diagnosed, okay, I've gone through treatment, now what, And so again, these books I think were all written like, decades ago, but probably. But anyways, really interesting books that I still kind of recommend to this day here in 2025, and I think they got some good fundamental messaging for groups of people.